Who's a bitch? Who's bitching at you? Who's bitching at me? Who's bitching at we? It's you. It's Who's a Bitch. And welcome. My name is Jackie Zabrowski.
And I'm Kara Klenk. And we're just a couple of ladies out on the lanai here to listen to your bitchuations and tell you who the bitch is.
Grab a cup of coffee. You know, unless it's the time period of your day where you want to get your balls up, you can also get your balls up as well.
And Jackie, I have to tell you something on camera, on mic, that's pretty shocking.
Uh-oh.
And it is that I'm having another baby.
No, you're not.
You're right, I'm not. It's April Fool's Day.
Oh, my God. Don't you dare. Don't you ever
God.
dare. Kara, you literally you said 10 minutes ago.
I just said I'm going to do a trick for you at the beginning. It's April Fool's.
I think, thank God we have it on film of the look of me looking at her being like, is she?
Oh my God. First of all, if I am, it's because I've cheated because my husband
has a vasectomy.
Well, you can get pregnant with a vasectomy. I guess it's like it's very rare but possible.
Like, I will, not that I'm going to rat you out to your husband.
Not with me. I'm not. It's not happening. But I just did the most like run-of-the-mill April Fool's joke, but happy April Fool's, everybody.
Happy, I guess. Is it happy?
A day I try to ignore completely.
Oh, do I try to ignore it?
I was supposed to be, my daughter's birthday is tomorrow because I was supposed to be, they wanted to induce me on April 1st. And I said, you know what? I don't think two comedians having a baby on April Fool's is like, that's too much.
We can't do this.
So I said, can we do it April 2nd? And so they induced me.
Wow, did you really push it so that she wasn't born on April Fool's?
Yeah, because her due date wasn't until the 5th.
Funny.
I think they were like, babe, she's just getting bigger the longer she's in there. But her due date was the 5th. So they said, how about the 1st? I said, can you induce me like the night of the 1st and I'll have her on the 2nd? And that's what happened.
Whoa, that's amazing. Yeah. It would have been, man, it never would have gotten old, I bet, Kara. I've been like, yep, born on April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
Yep, two comedians.
We're a bunch of jokesters.
Isn't that hilarious? Yep.
So funny.
I bet everyone would say it to you every single year, too. Honestly, worth it just for that.
I mean,
push it. I can hold the baby in another day.
I don't even care. Like, I'll just do it. I'll do it at 12:01 if my water breaks.
Oh my God.
But it was an induction, so I had a bit more of a choice. But we have a little update, Jackie. We had I don't know if you recall, episode 72, not that many episodes ago. We had Amelia left us a voicemail telling us about her boyfriend who was wonderful and great, but they don't really have a physical relationship. And she kind of wanted to break up with him, but she was worried because they were about to start a business venture together. They were about to go into like a restaurant situation together. So we have a update from Amelia.
Thank you for calling Who's the Bitch. To listen to voicemail, Who's the Bitch? Beep.
Hi, Kara and Becky. Me, Amelia, again. I'm calling you to give you an update. I am the caller who was talking about my otherwise perfect boyfriend, but we did not have a physical relationship, and there was the prospect of business together, business ownership together, and that was really stressing me out. So here's the update. Nothing else I was wrong, and it was honestly all stuff that I had been thinking, but just kind of denying. And we are in the final stages here of signing leases on this new business together, which is really exciting. And so the other day I decided I was going to have a conversation with him, and we sat down and I just asked him if he felt nervous about going into the restaurant together as a couple.
Right.
And basically the conversation was, I was mutually sad, and we both cried a lot, but we both did agree that we are each other's best friend, and it's going to be better for us to just operate as business.
Wow.
Friends in the future. And so honestly, this is a really healthy, wonderful, it's not conclusion because we still have a lot of work to do, but we are still working together, and we've had a lot of really honest conversations with each other, and it's all going really well, and we are both checking in with each other constantly. And I just want to say thank you, because there's not really any drama, and there's not a who's the bitch of the situation. It's just an update, and that we had like a super amicable breakup, which is like kind of hard to deal with in its own way because I've always dated people that just like treat me so terribly. So it's always really easy to just say goodbye to them and walk away. And it's a little harder to do this because he is so nice and we are going to be like business partners. But because he is so nice, like we've just managed to figure it out. And so just wanted to say thank you for kind of giving me that like final push of outside. And yeah, so I guess I'll call back and let you know if we actually do end up like setting all the paperwork and like getting it going. And if you guys are ever in Atlanta, just hit me up and dinner is totally on me. And love you guys. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, what an update.
Happy that it's all working
Amelia,
out.
I'm so sorry that you both decided that it was for the best that you ended the physical
romantic
relationship that you had. But I'm so proud of you for doing this, for going and having the uncomfortable conversation and knowing that it's like, it's just, and listening to the two of us and taking what we said and using it in a healthy, constructive way. Wow.
Also,
thank you.
I hate hearing that you've mostly been with guys that treat you terribly and like, but now you've had this good relationship. So you now know the kind of guy that you deserve and you just have to find him with more of like the romantic like compatibility.
Right.
And you're going to be golden in terms of like a life partner. Yeah. And then like just how many people have like worked together, have dated and then gone on to have successful work relationships? A lot of people.
A lot of people.
It's like, because it's like there's a chemistry there in your personalities.
Yes.
It just maybe isn't sexual,
right?
You know?
And I mean, it's like, look at the way that we all work together. I mean, it's like the community of LPN, like we all, a lot of us, not sexual partners, it's like we all work and vibe. And I think that this is only going to be success for the two of you. Also, you didn't wait for it to get, because like I feel like if you're starting a business venture with someone, if you had let it go on and it had gotten weird between the two of you, then it would have been too late. I'm so proud of you, Amelia, for doing it
this
now.
Is great.
Because like now you guys can go in with a fresh start in a fresh place for both of you. And also, like Kara said, now you deserve this caliber of human being. And you're never, all right? We're saying this here. You're never going to put up with any of that bullshit from anybody else ever again because now you know what you deserve.
Yeah. And I'm coming to Atlanta. We're having dinner.
I mean, I love Atlanta.
Having dinner.
Please.
I love Atlanta.
Keep me away from Atlanta. I know. It's just, honestly, I'd live in Atlanta if it wasn't for that humidity. I'll tell you what, I am not made to sweat that much.
Not made for the heat, this little Floridian.
No, it's like, people are like, but you're from Florida. I was like, yeah, and I left. That's the beautiful part about Florida.
But yeah, I'm glad Amelia didn't wait for there to be like a big confrontation, a big dramatic like meltdown. Because like it would have just gone nowhere fast. And this is really great. I feel like you guys are going into this really great.
Yes, and this has nothing to do with April Fool's Day. And I'm glad that there was no fooling with Amelia because I will throw it out there. Earlier today, I was pitching April Reels Day to Kara.
Oh yeah, you guys, I was just finding out. You had mentioned it to me before and I was like, and then I think we got distracted. So I got the real layout of April Reels Day. So if I can explain it quickly, how you explained it so you can tell me if I've got it, is a day where you bring hard truths to the people that you love.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, that's it.
You have the conversations that you've been avoiding having.
Yep.
And let me ask a question. So when you used to do this on page 7.
Correct. This is a page 7. This is a page 7 holiday. Correct.
And so and everybody got a little slappy hand and they could slap someone in the face if they said something too real.
Too real.
Now, if somebody says something too real and you get slapped in the face, convo ends. We don't keep talking about it.
Depends on what it is. Okay. Depends on what the too real is. And in the history of April Reels Day, Holden has slapped me once and I have slapped Holden once, but only in all of the years that we did it, we only slapped each other once. And that was only us going too far once.
Gotcha.
And if you've listened to page 7, you've heard since the beginning of time me calling Holden McNeely sexually frozen. And
you said it here as well.
And I have said it here. It is from the first April Reels day that we did to each other. Because again, his example is always, you can't be like, I hate your wife. It's about things that someone can work on.
Yeah,
it's something that can be worked on, usually also between people too. Like Holden, MJ, and I did this.
I think you spend money badly. Would you do that?
I would say yes if
you think it's detrimental to their lives.
I think if there was a reason to bring it up. But it was actually really great because while MJ, Holden, and I were on tour for page 7, we had an April Reels day that actually, it was right before, or we were in the middle of our tour. And it helped the tour so much because it was about how we interacted with each other and just bringing up, like you said, it's uncomfortable things. It's things that, and I said that Holden was sexually frozen, and I explained to Kara that Holden got me to quit smoking cigarettes because he called me out about hurting my voice by smoking cigarettes.
Did you slap him over that one?
I did. I slapped him over that one. That was the slap because he also said it in a way where he kept going and then he's like, and you smell bad all the time and everybody thinks that you should stop smoking cigarette. Like he said it in a way that pushed it too far. Yeah. And then I slapped him.
Yeah. I don't think it's I don't think it's ever really helpful to go, we've all been talking about it. Everybody thinks this. It's like, speak for yourself.
Right.
I've been guilty of it.
Sure.
I mean, I've been guilty of it, of course, of being like, I'm not the only one that feels this way. But it always just puts people on the defensive, like, oh, you've all been fucking talking about this. You're all mad at me. You all hate me.
Right.
Whatever.
Now, I bring this up because we created April Reels Day because we all hate April Fool's Day so much, which is humorous in so much that we are all comedians. And it seems a lot of comedians, like in the way that when I was a true blue alcoholic, I really was annoyed by St. Patrick's Day because I was like, oh, it's the day when all the people that don't know how to drink get drunk. And I feel like April Fool's Day is the day where everybody thinks they're hilarious when in reality, a lot of pranks are very annoying.
Yeah. Well, and now it's like brands doing it and it's just like, Totino's pizza rolls are not making pepperoni anymore.
Yeah, it's
like I don't know, whatever. It's like always something late. I mean, like everything else, late stage capitalism is pretty much ruined.
Yeah, pretty much. So I was bringing this up just because I realized this is something now. It doesn't happen until around 420 because usually you want to be able to have 420 to smoke it away now. But I did want to introduce this concept because I was like, if there's a place for April Reels Day,
this is where
it's right here on Who's the Bitch. So I guess I'm also putting out the call for everyone right in your April Reels, and maybe you got to have people tune in to an episode where we get into your April Reels that you're like, well, I'm not going to go to them directly, but I will write in about it
who's
to
the
Who's the Bitch. So hit us up, who'sthebitch.com. Hit us up with any bitchuation you've got. If it maybe this is something that you're like, oh, it's not a bitchuation, but I've been meaning to say this to someone.
But it's just in April Reels, and we'll read them in the month of April.
And I'll read some April. Yes, we'll read some April Reels.
And and it could just be like a little unloading, but I mean, for various reasons, you're probably not going to say anything to this person. Although maybe we can help. Maybe we can tell you a way that you could get into it. But who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
That's why, and maybe ways to open up the conversation. I just feel like I know this is silly. I feel like April Reels Day genuinely helps people. And I don't want to lose it because we stopped doing it with page 7 because we've been working together for so long that I'm like, I've said everything I got to fucking say. I got nothing else to say to them.
Maybe we'll start right now. Jackie, I have an April Reels to tell you.
What is it? Is that you're pregnant and that you lied to me?
I don't like your husband, Jeff.
No.
April Fools. He's like my favorite friend's husband.
Oh my God. But also it's like your husband's
that would be so crazy.
Friend too. It would be
love
really rough.
Jeff.
I love
one of the
Jared.
first friends that met Jeff, I feel.
You were beyond the first one.
And I liked him immediately.
At RuPaul's Drag Con.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, if Kara likes him, I bet everybody else is going to like
liked him immediately.
Yes, because honestly, especially then when we weren't quite as close, but we've been friends for a long time. But it was funny because I'm like, if Kara's the one that'll say it if she doesn't like him. And I knew it.
I might not say it, but you'll see it on my face.
Because that's what I love about me and Kara both. We're like, we really show it on our faces. So I knew that Kara couldn't lie to that extent.
I can be a good liar, but
you even bought artwork from him.
Well, for Jared, and he loves it. Yeah. Yeah. I bought a Frankenstein on a record. I love that thing. It's in his office. It looks so cool. It's behind him when he streams.
Check out crudeink.com.
Is that it? Not knowing your husband's URL. Grounds for divorce?
Grounds for divorce. No, it's not that one. Never mind. Don't go to Crude. Look up Crude Inc. on Instagram. That is CRUDEINC.
INC, not INK.
No,
okay,
Crude
get it. Got it.
Good.
Yeah, he's good. All right, let's get into our habituations, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's get into our solicited advice. Okay, this is our first email. Hey, y'all. Love you both so much. On to my current bitchuation.
Okay.
I've struggled with disordered eating literally my whole life. I'm trying really hard, but people using quote good and quote bad language about food, calories, weight is just a lot for me. A few weeks ago, while working in a part of my office, subbing in for someone, not my usual desk, which is why I didn't say anything, I'm just making it bigger because my old ass eyes can't read.
You're all good.
I was with two people who were having a weight conversation. One is a small-time GLP-1 influencer and very open about it. Honestly, my only opinion on that is that I don't want little girls to see professional athletes talking about how they needed intravenous medication to lose weight after giving birth, but I think people should do what's best for them, full stop. And the other was revealing that she previously weighed much more than she does now. They were looking at old pictures and discussing, including laughter and shitty comments, but they're living their lives. This is all just relevant setting details. I went to the bathroom before lunch and a coworker, a not thin middle-aged woman, said, "Kate, you look good. Have you lost weight?" I panicked and said something like, "I'd honestly really appreciate if no one made comments like that to me." She assumed I misunderstood and said, "No, I was just saying how good you look. Have you lost some weight recently?" Me, "No, I got that. I just didn't like it." Her, "Oh, I just meant you look like you've lost a few pounds."
Oh my God.
Me, I'd just appreciate if no one made comments about my body. And she looked crestfallen and I scurried away and I thought about it for weeks. I continued greeting her with friendliness in the hallway, but she didn't really smile back for a few weeks. We're good again now. Last week, another coworker, also a not thin middle-aged woman, said the same thing. I'd practiced this and said, "I appreciate the spirit of the compliment, but I'd prefer if no one made any kind of comment about my body." She looked mildly alarmed and got defensive, saying it was definitely a compliment. I just said, "No, I know," and then smiled and brought up some coworker gossip so we didn't have to dwell on it. Here's my question. If you haven't already guessed it, am I the bitch for asking this? Is there a less bitchy way I can go about it? I don't know these women that well, and I don't really want to share specifics, but I'm friendly with them and want to maintain that. I have been able to make some positive changes lately, and more comments wouldn't surprise me. I don't want to alienate myself. It's just a really frustrating situation, and your call last week, along with Natalie's openness in some place underneath, have encouraged me to ask your advice. Thank you, Kate. And I'm not remember what call. I mean, I'm sure she's just talking about the one where the friend kept suggesting that she use a GLP-1 or something. She had like a friend.
Right, yeah.
I feel, but Jackie, I'd love to hear your perspective on this. I feel like you kind of nailed it in the second time when you just said, "I appreciate the spirit of the compliment, but I really prefer if no one made any kind of comment about my body."
Yes.
Like this is definitely an age thing too. I mean, I've lost a couple of pounds lately personally, and the principal of my kids' school just went, "What happened to you? You've lost weight." And I was like, how have you even been noticing my body? You're like my kid's principal. It is like, it's just like, feels like it's an age thing. And so these women are probably never going to go, "Oh, that makes sense. Thank you for sharing your preference with me. Goodbye." Like they're always going to act like, "You don't understand. I'm telling you how beautiful you are because you're thin." And they're the same thing.
Right.
In my mind.
And you're not going to get that into their brain. We were, so many of us.
Conditioned.
And I think that people that have not gone through an experience of their weight being different in front of other people, like the people that are making these comments on you, they don't understand that comments like this are not welcomed often. And it feels like it really is crazy. Like you look at both of these instances and both of the women that are talking to you mean nothing malicious by it. We understand, and I appreciate too that Kate understands that as well, that you're not meaning it in a bad way and you're not taking offense in that manner. But I appreciate the question of, but how do I make it just stop then? And I feel like, unfortunately, in a coworker situation, I think, like Kara said, how you said it is the way to say it rather than torquing up the bitch a little bit more. Because I think if I were not in a coworker situation, I'd definitely be at a point of like, hey, men do this to me all the time, and I don't want it from women either. So I don't want it. I don't want, don't look at my body. Don't talk about my body. Like, I feel like I would torque it up to a bitchier place if I wasn't at work. Like if it was like within like a friend group,
and you don't
I think
need
that
to
I
get
would.
into your past,
No.
any of that. No. I think that you're literally just, word will get around them. Like, she doesn't really like that kind of talk. Don't do that. You know, like,
yes.
I mean, they need to just be getting to a place where it's like, you look nice today. You know, maybe you like it's not about your makeup. It's not about your fit. It's not about your weight. It's not about your hair color. It's just, you look nice today. If you want to give someone a comment.
But maybe it is also in this discussion, which again, it's hard to be like, and now I got to also teach you where it's like, there's many things that we can compliment each other on. Like, how about things that we have choices over? And maybe that there is a part of the conversation, and I imagine there's lots of people that are rolling their eyes right now that if someone said this to me, but I also do wonder that, like you saying, they're coming from not thin, middle-aged women that are not doing this maliciously, that if you put it in a place of like, actually, I want to always be complimenting each other. But how about we compliment like the way I did my hair today, or like something that I chose to put on my body rather than something that you have no idea. And maybe it could open up their mind of like, oh, that's not the only thing and this is coming from someone that and I know I've said this on the show many times, I am an over complimenter. I like complimenting strangers. I like complimenting people. I try to do it not in a way that is aggressive or sexually aggressive, and I specifically try to choose things that they have control over, because there's many things, even down to like saying that somebody has beautiful eyes. It's something they don't have control over.
I mean, so it's like, Annie, it's like, even if you are working out and trying to be on like a fitness journey or whatever, and if you that still doesn't really open people up to comment on your weight.
Exactly.
You know?
Like now I feel that this is different, like between me and Kara. Like if like she knew that I was working, like, bitch.
Yeah.
If you, in the same way that I feel like we all know as a society, or at least a lot of us do, that you don't bring up a person's pregnancy unless
I was
you
gonna say
definitely know
or
they are
like,
pregnant.
Or even asking, when are you having another baby? When are you having a baby? Like any of that. Like, it's just...
I brought this up to Kara. I know I talked about this on page 7 when I was in Dallas, and there was a woman that I didn't know very well, and she asked me if I was trying, and I said, trying to do what? She meant if I was having sex with my husband in order to procreate, but I did. It's things like that where it's like, you don't know me.
Yeah.
And even in that, I felt weird that I was offended by her asking me if I was trying, because I was like, in my brain, of course, I immediately went down the spiral of, oh, because I'm not good enough if I'm not. Oh, because I have to have children to have any worth. Oh, because, and then I realized you're bringing your own. Defensive like issues to this, and like this woman was just asking you a nice question. Okay, so come, and that's why. And again, Kate, you are not dealing with a situation like this. I think that you are doing a great job, but I think that encouraging the women or other people in the office to compliment each other in different ways. Because then it is the like, oh, I can't even tell a woman to smile anymore. I know. I feel like there's that.
But a lot of women just think that talking to other women about their weight, about their fertility, that all that's like open kind of season, because like, oh, we're all fellow women in some ways.
But also, you don't know.
But you don't.
And you don't know. You don't, it is assuming something about somebody else. And so it is like, if there were a way, like if you saw someone drastically lose weight and you were concerned for them, that's one thing. But this does see, I can't believe the principal of your school noticed that you lost weight and said something about it.
She's a little bit of a goofball, but yeah.
But still, it's
she
like
was
she's so busy. Like,
oh, yeah.
I love you, Kara, but I haven't brought up any of it.
It's not like I'm showing up in tight outfits. I'm like in a sweatshirt most days. So I'm like, how are you even like noticing that? But some people have like a real freaking eye for that. I don't necessarily. But I definitely am guilty of going up to people, but I will always usually feel it out that it's somebody that I have a little bit of a rapport with and be like, have you lost weight? Like, you know, like you look great.
Like are you, I'm
always like in it. Yeah. And I'm always like, if it's in a good way, tell me how you did it.
Literally,
you know,
it's the same way I feel if someone tells me they're pregnant, and I'm like, and we
is that
are
good?
smiling.
Yeah.
It is. Can we put it all in the same category now?
Yeah.
As infertility, can we put it all in the same category of just like talking about someone else's, like, unless it is something that you have a friend and you are concerned about them. Other than that,
I think it's like also it's like just so many people do have like disordered eating that like. It was just so commonplace even in the 90s. I feel like everybody did to a low level.
Yes.
Even if it was like an undiagnosed.
Yes.
It was like.
And also, Kate, you're talking to two women that were societally raised during all the same, you know, with the good and the bad foods. And like, my mom still says like, oh, I was so bad. Oh, I was so bad. I ate a little piece of chocolate. I was so bad. I was like, stop. I was like, where do you think I got this from?
No,
Stop.
I'm trying to not do that. I'm trying to like, you know, deprogram that for my kids and stuff. Like not do that. Deprogram myself so I don't do it to my kids. But it is like.
We have to help each other.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what it is, Kate. See this as like looking at the other, because I'm assuming that it's like you're talking about other women that you were talking about this with, of like, we all need to be helping each other with talking about this. And so maybe it's like, and I'm saying this as someone that also comes from your place of like, rather than being like, don't talk about my fucking body, it's that's just going to shut them down and shut them off. How about instead we talk about what we could be saying to each other?
Yeah. Just more generic. You look great. You look really happy today.
Yeah, you're glowing right now. You have a new skin regimen.
You're glowing. Are you pregnant? That's always the next one. Don't do that one. All right. Let's get to our
Even your skin is glowing is something, but then that's something that you're doing to your skin. Like, I have to think about it. I genuinely think about it before I compliment people. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Well, but Kate, I hope everything it sounds like you nailed it though. I really feel like I cannot improve upon your language in any way. And then I think when she goes, it was meant as a compliment, and you go, I know. And then you smile. Like, you're like, I'm not here to yell at you. Like, I'm not here to be like, you know, tell you that you need to repent for just like letting you know, this is my preference, you know?
Right.
It's like anything else that we have to teach like the kind of boomers and some of the elder millennials about, I guess, too.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do our first voicemail.
Thank you for calling Who's the Bitch. Tell us in the voicemail who's the bitch. Beep.
Hi, girlies. I love you both so much. Day one listener. And I'm going to keep it short and sweet. This is a kind of a low-stakes one. But so I'm moving out of state in 2 weeks. And there's a girl that I met here where I'm living. And I'm not a huge fan. She's fine. But she really uses me as a therapist. She just, refuses to get any kind of help for her marital issues and her family problems. And at first, you know, she would call me and I would answer and I would listen, and she never would stop talking. And I was too nice to tell her I don't have the mental bandwidth for this right now. I sort of tried to direct her towards how to get into therapy and things like that. And I don't hate talking on the phone. So it was really quite cool of me to answer to begin with. So anyway, I have over time found her to just be very self-absorbed, very selfish, really emotionally draining. There's really no upside of hanging out with this person. We're going to go our separate ways. I doubt I'll ever see her again. So my question is, about a week ago, my grandpa died, and she called me. I didn't answer. I texted her, hey, what's up? She said, I was just calling to see if I could come over and cry. And I was like, what happened? And she said, I just lost my job, the one that I only had for 3 weeks. And I was like, oh, that sucks. But I'm actually not up for crying about that right now because my grandpa just died and I'm just, sorry. I'm not in a place for that. So she then proceeded to say, oh, I'm so sorry, and send like 5 or 6 long text messages about her being fired and did not address my, situation again. I eventually answered her and just said, yeah, that really sucks. Good luck. And I don't know if maybe she figured out she messed up because she has since then, she texted me, hey, how are you? Like yesterday. And then she called me just now. I did not answer. And she texted me, hey, how are you? What are you doing? And I just want to know if I'm going to be a bitch, if it's bitchy of me to ghost this person, because I don't think it's my job to tell her why what she did was just so selfish. And I'm never going to see this person again if I don't want to. She's just such a emotional vampire. Like, so am I a bitch if I just ghost her, or do I owe it to being a good human to just let her know why I don't really want to be her friend? Or maybe I took all of this too personally. Anyway, I respect your guys' opinion so much. I friggin' love you guys. Okay, bye.
Oh my God. We've all had people like this that we've had to deal with.
And by the way, she's only texting you now recently because she's let a week go by since your grandfather passed, which I'm so sorry for your loss.
Sorry.
But she's let a week go by and then been hey, testing the waters to be when is it okay for me to fully unload on you again? Are we bounced back yet from grandpa or no?
I'm still upset about the job and now I'm looking for a job. So now I've got other things to complain about. So
I mean, I know I on this show am usually anti-ghosting because I just feel we owe it to each other as human beings. So
I know.
It does but at the same time, in this situation, I don't really know that you need to have a full come to Jesus April feels, for example. I don't think you need to just come to her and go,
reals?
I think you use friends as therapists. I think you don't seek out actual help for your problems. You just like to suck your friend's emotional teats, I guess. I don't know. That sounds disgusting. But you're just an emotional vampire, and which I love that phrase so much.
Yes.
And I'm leaving town, so bye forever. I don't know if that conversation needs to happen necessarily. I think you could literally, if she keeps texting you, you could just be I'm just really stressed out with my move right now. I'll get in touch with you, or whatever. And then I think that this could be sort of a, what is it? Was it Caspering when you just do a sort of a slow, a slow fade out? Because once you're in another state, you're not, and that could also leave the door open for her to just send you long texts or try to be a phone friend with you.
I just wish you could see how I had written Casper when you were I don't want it to be ghosting. I know we're not a ghost people here, but no, this is a Casper situation.
This is a Casper. I definitely think it's fine to just slowly back away from the friendship.
Yeah.
And I think that it's okay to not write her back for a little while.
It's a friendly
and just
ghosting.
Be I was just trying to get my, but at the same time, I'm kind of with people in general, with you, caller, let's try not to let people like this into your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know, I'm not saying you did it on purpose, but you sounds like there's barely a redeeming quality of this person to you. You don't find her funny. You're not well, she's an emotional vampire, but she's really fun to hang out with when we get drunk or when we go to we like movies, we like to do mahjong together. It doesn't sound like there's a redeeming quality about her.
Yeah.
But you've let her in to the point that she thinks you're her person to go to cry about her problems.
Right.
You gotta keep people at arm's length a little bit. When you just this is just a little piece of advice for your new city that you're moving to, your new town that you're moving to. Let's keep an eye out for people Vampire Veronica over here, and let's not let people get that access to you.
No, it's just so,
because then you don't have to deal with this shit again.
But maybe at least this is good that now the caller knows never to let this happen again. It's like, I feel like
I'm basically telling you what I'm sure you know.
Because we've all gotten into this friendship before.
Yes.
And then you realize like, oh, I was with someone over the weekend. I was with someone that I don't really know very well, that I had to be on my best behavior around. And he was the kind of person that honestly, like this person, only ever speaking about himself, not asking, like literally haven't spoken to this person in years and years. Not one question about me, not one didn't really care. I hung out with this person for hours.
Yeah.
But I clocked it. And it was the kind of thing that I was just so annoyed by because it's just so selfish and annoying that it's just like, I gotta tell you to not be a selfish friend in conversation.
Yeah.
And I have to ask you to care about me at all.
Yeah.
That's not a friend.
Right.
Like, it's like, it seems like it's not even like, that's why I'm saying, I don't even think you have to go through the whole, like, because I feel like we're not really gelling. Like, like you said, I don't think
you need to have a big.
This person's not your friend.
Yeah.
You're just kind of.
I'll be honest, she's probably not going to reach out to you as much when she can't use you as an escape to go over to your house or do whatever Because
like you said, you're not even a phone person. So you're not going to be sitting on the phone with them. Like, you're not going to be talking with them.
She'll be like, this is almost over. This is almost in the rear view. In fact, by the time this episode comes out, you probably have already moved.
Yeah, I bet it already is.
I just think, like, for me, I've had people that are emotional vampires, but like there always was an upside to them.
Yes.
So I guess I'm just saying, like, the people that you're going to let in, make sure that there's like an upside. I'm not saying never be there for friends or whatever. Like, there's got to be something that you're getting out of the friendship too.
Even I have an emotional vampire friend of mine that is my emotional vampire friend because we go back and forth and emotionally vampire to each other.
Yeah.
And then we both, like, it's like, we literally call and be like, do you have time? Because I need to just get it. And like because we do it for each other.
Right.
And that's where, like, find somebody that'll at least meet you and at least gonna let you bitch.
Yeah.
We all need to be bitching.
We all need to be bitching.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Oh my God.
And you just lost your grandfather, which again, I'm so sorry.
Mess, though, like losing the job after 3 weeks and having all these marital
problems. And then needing
problems
to cry to you about it after the 3 weeks of losing the job. Like, what did she lose the job for? Like, what was she doing as she lost the job?
Yeah.
Because I feel like, I bet it was her fault.
But look, if a regular friend that you love loses their job, you're going to commiserate.
Yeah, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to let you know, baby.
All right, Jackie, take us into our next email here.
Also, you did call it April Feels earlier, Kara, and it's April Reels.
Oh my God, April Reels.
And this is my April Reels for you. It's actually April Reels.
When you mispronounce things, it makes me feel invisible.
I'm disrespected.
Thank you. I'm sorry, April Reels.
Thank you for hearing
but
me.
They are kind of April feels.
Yeah,
they are deep feelings.
They are. You are correct. You are correct. And I feel like there's an addendum to April
and also
Reels.
Feels sounds more like fools. Feel like it's a fool.
You know, I'm going to say this, Kara. After all these years,
you're renaming it.
Because I've never thought about it that way, and you're so right. Why isn't it called April Feels Day? Because then it also goes against April Fools. It's more, honestly, overall, you've just gave it a much better branding.
I just punched it up. I'm available, by the way.
Thank you for punching it up. I do feel like, God, do we need to change it to April Feels Day?
Why did it become April Reels?
I just called it April Reels Day.
April Reels.
No, it's just been April Reels Day. Yeah,
real.
Yeah, and get to feel. Whoa, and we have to get to this letter.
You got
Greetings, ladies. To preface all this, my in-laws and I have a loving relationship. I know that they didn't write it like this. Sidebar, this is me, Jackie, speaking this, but I do love saying, to preface all this, my in-laws and I have a loving relationship. Again, the person's not saying this way. Anyway, I do usually like these people, and they like me. After 10 years of marriage and putting it off, I finally decided I was ready to get pregnant. I'm due in November. Congratulations with their first grandbaby. Because my husband and I have been married for so long, my mother-in-law has had plenty of time to workshop potential grandparent names. She has landed on Mimi, her, and doe-doe, him. They are deeply Southern, and we will all begin referring to each other by our new names. I deeply hate doe-doe.
This is why I was like, we have to read this email. I deeply hate doe-doe. It made me laugh so loud at my house last night when I was reading it.
Doe-doe.
I deeply hate doe-doe.
I deeply hate doe-doe. It is one of the stupidest grandparent names I've ever heard. To be perfectly honest, I am against grandparents trying to have cool names. I'm not a traditional woman generally. I kept my maiden name and have made it perfectly clear from before being wed that any baby I grow will have my name. However, grandparents don't need special names in my opinion. I think it's a trend. And if there's anything my mother-in-law likes, it's a trend. My own parents went with Grammy and Papa when my niece was born. We live out of state from them, and it wouldn't be too difficult to only refer to my father-in-law using Grandpa, causing our kid to also use Grandpa. He doesn't care what he's called as long as he has a grandbaby. Would it be too bitchy of me? Should I just let my mother-in-law have her way? She's not hurting anyone. Am I being the bitch for even having an opinion on grandparent names? I was fine letting it alone when the baby was hypothetical. I don't have a lot of hills to die on, but I refuse to call that man doe-doe for the rest of his life. I'm from Denver and can get away with using first names, but I don't ever want to hear doe-doe come out of my husband's mouth. This is pretty low stakes. I could get over it if I have to. I'd like to do my damnedest to not have to, though. I think of both of you fondly. Annie, I deeply hate doe-doe.
I love this email. I love this email because I've gone through this where I grew up and my grandparents were Grandma Frida and Grandpa Joe.
Okay.
And my other mom, my dad's mother was Grandma Esther. Like, I just thought everybody called their grandparents Grandma and Grandpa with the name. And then when I started having kids, everybody was like Mimi and Pop Pop and Lolly and Bing Bong and like all these fucking things. And I was like, oh my God, this is like, I was with you, Annie. I was like, this is dumb. Then my mom made a huge deal about it because she really didn't want to be called grandma. I think it's like, you know, we just make women feel washed up forever. And so grandma is like the last stop on the like, you're old and unfuckable train or something.
What do they call your mother?
So my friend Sky, they call her mother Grandy, and my mom liked that. And so she goes, I'm going to be Grandy.
I like Grandy.
Then I told my friend Sky's mom, and she goes, oh, is your mom's name Wendy also? And I completely didn't know that it was grandma plus Wendy was mixed up. It was just Grandy. And everybody was like, at the beginning, my siblings were all like, are we really going with this Grandy thing? And
because you were the first to have kids?
Because I was the first. And then my brother had a kid literally 3 weeks after me. And we were like, are we doing Grandy? And we were like, I guess we have to.
So you decided together.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think we got to respect people's pronouns. We have to call people what they want to be called. If she wants to be called Grandy by the kids, that's fine. I don't call her that.
Calling her that. That's the thing.
And I don't say doe-doe, but I do say, oh, you got something from Grandy.
From Grandy. You got something from Grandy.
So I do fear, Annie, that you are going to have to utter the word doe-doe a couple of times.
The best part, though,
doe-doe is a bad one, though.
I feel like this
is
something.
It's like a dodo bird. It's like a name for a dummy.
Yeah, but it's kind of fun because then it's like a thing that like your kid has with the grandfather.
And
then
also,
it's like, oh, the dodo bird from Alice in Wonderland, and then you have
once you start seeing your kid call him dodo, you're gonna think it's cute.
It's gonna be cute. In fact, eventually you're gonna forget that dodo means something else that's not your father-in-law. Like, I feel like
it is kind of nice if you have two living sets of parents, which my kids do. They both have their grandparents to differentiate. Jared's parents are Grammy and Pap.
Yes.
And my parents are Grandy and Grandpa Ken. He doesn't get a name. He's just Grandpa Ken. He never asked for one. He doesn't give a shit.
No, he doesn't care.
So like, I guess it's like you could have one final conversation with your father-in-law and be like, is Dodo really your choice or is it mother-in-law? Is it Mimi's choice? Because she could be Mimi and he could just be Grandpa.
The problem is that will Mimi handle Dodo being grandpa? And the one thing I will say to you, Annie, is that I had a grandmother that hated being called. So my grandmother, she was awful, horrible, horrible human being. The oldest, so my sister was the oldest of all the grandkids. And she couldn't say grandma, and then the second oldest also couldn't say grandma, like all the way, like it was like a speech impediment thing. And so for both of them, they started calling her Mimar, and they started then calling her Mimar, and my grandmother hated being called Mimar. She just wanted to be called grandma. She just didn't understand why the children couldn't say it the way she wanted it. And then all of the grandchildren, of course, called her Mimar because that's what the older kids called her. So then we all called, and my grandmother hated all of us. Like, I mean, she was brutally mental ill. But the fact that we called her Mimar was just the icing on the cake for her to want us all to be dead. And it was like, so the one thing I would say is, and maybe your Mimi's not like my Mimar, but you don't want them hating the names.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's not her decision what the father-in-law gets called. But
do you think that Mimi
like
is
in
not?
charge.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I know Mimi is gonna probably cause
Dodo
a sting.
probably don't give a dodo, but I think Mimi might care.
But I think I don't think you should go and like brainwash your child, because I think that we should eventually teach kids that you got to call people what they want to be called, right? So I think that that's like,
and it's respecting each other.
If Mimi comes to that child every time and goes, "I'm Mimi," and your son or daughter is like, "Oh, well, mommy calls you grandma." Like, I don't know. It's like she's asking to be called a certain thing. I think we should teach kids to kind of respect that,
I guess, but then at the same time, not to immediately go against you, Kara.
Ooh, but I like it.
When you talk to your kids, do you say,
I do.
Dad?
I do. Sometimes if I say mom, they go, "Who's mom?" I go, "Grandy." That's my mom.
Okay.
I go, "Remember Grandy is my mom?"
Yes.
But I do call her that. And I go, "Go tell Grandpa Ken thank you for that," or whatever.
And
you will have to say dodo sometimes. You won't go dodo past the P's. Like, it won't be like you're calling him dodo now.
Right. But I guess my question though, do you call Jared daddy in front of the children, or do you refer to him as Jared?
I call him dad. I go ask dad.
Okay, you say dad.
Or daddy. Yeah, I go ask dad.
Okay.
But I don't go, "Hey, dad." I don't go, "Hey, daddy, are you making dinner right now?" I go, "Jared."
Okay.
They hear us say each other's names.
Okay, all right, okay.
If I'm referring about a person,
then you refer to them as their name,
as the name that they
are.
prefer. But then to me, he's Jared. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was just a question. That was no judgments. I was just wondering.
It is like, I get that you think it's a trend. I do think it's helpful for just differentiating sets of grandparents, so your kids will know Grammy and Papa are one set and Mimi and Dodo are a separate set.
Trend was disrupting my family 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm just throwing it out there. Unfortunately, I don't think it's a trend.
Too.
Yeah.
It's very Southern.
It is a very Southern thing. It is definitely a very Southern thing.
Mima and Lolly.
My mom's Grammy. My mom wanted to be Grammy. She wanted to be Grammie. She specifically wanted to be Grammy.
Okay, our Grammys with a Y.
Yes, so she wanted to be that Grammy, and
I am that Grammy.
And that was me. And I was at the time, I was like, I don't like any of this, and then I was like, why am I going to fight now?
Yeah.
I don't even have any kids.
There's so few things to fight about. Let them call the things they want. I don't think you're being a bitch. I think Dodo is deeply bad.
Stupid.
It's a bad one.
It's a bad one.
But if that's what he has agreed to, I think you should let him have a voice.
But I think it also is kind of
just real quick before the baby is born. Giving you one last shot, Dodo.
One last shot.
Throwing you out one last life raft, Dodo.
Get out. Maybe do it in front of me and see how it goes.
Are you willing to be Dodo
forever
to multiple children? Because I mean, I don't know if there's other kids in the family, but like they might not be the only. This might not be the only grandchild. So, and also, yeah, you live out of state. It's not like you're gonna be seeing them all the time. My kids are not around my parents all the time.
Yeah.
So. But
I don't want to hear Dodo come out of my husband's mouth. I don't want to hear it come out of my husband's mouth. Annie, you're hilarious, by the way. And I feel like you just being as funny of a writer as you are, I feel like you can make Dodo work.
Let's make Dodo work,
Annie. I think we can make Dodo work. I think we can make it work.
Dodo work.
I deeply hate Dodo, but
it's a cute thing to like when your kids are like using it. I think you will change. I think you will soften because I was where you are, and I think you will soften when you see your kids going Grandy and like, you know, it's cute. It's cute that they have these little names for them. All right, let's get to our next voicemail.
Thank you for calling. Who's the bitch? Tell us in the voicemail who's the bitch. Beep.
Sarah, hey, Jackie. I have a little bit of a situation that I want your advice on.
Okay.
So I live with my best friend of 7 years that we went to high school together. We've known each other for a while. And we bought a house last year, and I lived on the top floor. I had lived alone before, so it was a little bit of an adjustment for me to be living with a roommate.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a year, I got used to it. One issue that we've been having is I try to be really respectful whenever I am having sex in the house. Like, I won't have sex, really, if there's other people in the house because I just don't feel comfortable. But she's had 2 different boyfriends, and this is in the span of a year, so where I've heard her having sex with 2 separate boyfriends. And the first time that it happened, I told her something. The second time I didn't. Anyway, this time, this is the situation. My friends were coming over, and she said, well, where are they sleeping? Because I'm trying to have sex. And I said, I don't know, the couch maybe? And she said, well, I'll try to be quiet, but I'm having sex. Would I be a bitch to tell her that I think that it's not a big deal for her to be respectful about having sex when there's people in the apartment? I mean, the house, I don't know. Let me know. Thank you, guys. Love you both.
I mean, this is a tough one because it's her house.
I have 1,000 million questions.
I know this one.
Do you pay to live on the top floor?
Yeah.
Do you, and you said that so you're on the top floor. Is her bedroom on the main floor where people, or is it just in the flight, right above it? So it's then they will definitely hear it, if they're in the living room, because I'm assuming that the person that owns the house is not saying that they want to fuck in the living room.
Yeah.
They're saying that they're just going to hear me fuck if they stay in the living room. Right? Is essentially what she was saying. Sorry, I guess question for you, Kara. This situation, the person who lives on the top floor is can I have a couple friends stay? And she said, where are they going to stay? They're going to hear me have sex. And she was on the couch. And then she's okay, well, they're going to hear me have sex. Is that what this is?
I think so.
Okay.
But I also want to get to the caller saying that they never have sex when anyone else is home.
Which,
that's girl, I want you to be having more sex.
Yes.
This is you can't just, you're on another floor. It's not this is I don't know. I guess had sex. I've had sex in places where there's barely a wall.
You know what it is, Kara? And this is something that I've really found over the years as someone that, and something I've worked on in therapy. I used to, if I wasn't getting laid, I couldn't hear anybody having sex. I just, I'm so angry about it. And then if I was getting laid, I'm fuck yeah, everybody's getting laid.
I also just have had very quiet sex, haven't you?
There's also if it's my other question for the caller was, how long are your friends staying? It's one thing if hey, can my friends I've got 3 friends that are come stay for a month. I understand the other person being this way. Is she saying this in a way of she doesn't want you to have friends come stay at her house? I'm wondering with the sex situation, because you even said you heard her have sex once, but or twice, but you only brought it up the once, and it was a while ago. So,
and you've been living together for a year. You only heard her have sex twice. That's
which is
not that many times to hear your roommate have sex.
And me and my best friend Madeline, we used to joke around all the time where it's the cacophony.
I heard you got some last night.
Yeah, and we were high-fiving in the hallway and stuff. But it's it depends on your place in life. And especially, the caller was living alone. Now you're living with roommates again. And I imagine you have also the hangups of not wanting to bang in the house, I guess, if there are other people there, because I don't know, do you feel that this is more her house? You're right. I want to explore that.
Yeah, because does that feel like a thing where, because I've definitely been we have to be quiet. Like I've had sex sharing an Airbnb with people like many, many times where we're just quiet and no one hears it and no one says anything about it in the morning and everybody has fun.
There are ways to do it. In
there's
fact,
ways
you
to
can
do it
actually
unless you're like,
make it
no,
more fun.
actually when I have sex, I have to be pounding against the headboard. I have to be screaming. That's the only way I can enjoy myself. That's a different story.
Not to bring it back to sneeze beef, but I do feel like some people think that it's completely impossible to have sex without being like,
no.
And I think that it's funny.
It's actually like kind of hot sometimes to have sex where you're like quiet. We can't wake anybody up.
Yes, that it's like, it is the like, oh, there's people in the house.
Yeah.
We have to be quiet. Like,
it's a secret.
That's a fun thing to play with. That's why I guess I'm wondering why, like, it's like if that your friend thinks it's too long for someone to be staying there, and also has the sex and like in general been a part of your conversation. Like, did she say like, I don't want to hear you have sex? Like, you not wanting to have sex when other people are in the house, is that coming from you or is that coming from her? Is this like something that you just don't feel comfortable about, or is this something
like
you've discussed?
to me,
which would also go to show why you're having so many issues like with this specific problem.
To me, your guest, because I don't know, it was a little hard to hear because your voice dropped out a little bit right when you said my friends were coming over. The translation of it, like the
voicemail translation, yes.
The transcript says one of my friends were coming over, and then she said, where are they sleeping? Because I'm trying to have sex. So I don't know if it's one friend or multiple friends. If it's one friend, I mean, and you're really worried that it's going to be super awkward for your friend to hear your roommate having sex, then I would just say, come sleep in my room, sleep on the floor of my room, sleep in my bed,
this is
whatever.
a much bigger issue, honestly, for the caller.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that like hearing sex that you don't want to hear is not a big issue. It is a big issue. It is the fact that I feel that it is not as big of an issue for your roommate. And this might become a much bigger problem because it seems that the fact that you said you don't have sex when other people are in the house means you have different rules and different things set up in your brain for a sex space, which is completely acceptable.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is maybe this isn't the right living situation for you. And not to go completely to like make this but it's like, I feel like with everything you just said, like maybe this just isn't the space for you right now.
Well, because this person, obviously this roommate, views sex as a necessity at a part of everyday life, the same as eating food, taking a shit, doing whatever.
And that's
you're not going to like
fine.
Not take a shit when someone's sitting on your couch because it makes a fart sound sometimes. Do you know what I mean? Like, sure, that's awkward and no, like whatever, but that's just part of life. I'm going to have sex. My boyfriend's coming over this weekend. Like, that's going to happen. She did say, I'll try to be quiet. And it sounds like what you're saying is it's being disrespectful for her to have sex while your friend is sleeping in the living room. And I guess what I'm saying is like, I don't relate to that, and I don't feel that way. And so I would just like kind of look at what it is that you think about sex, that you're like, I don't do it when other people are in the home, and I don't think anyone else should do it when anyone else is in earshot, because I think that it just has a little bit more to do with you than it does with the roommate.
Right.
And so like Jackie said, maybe this isn't the best living situation because, like, I think of it as like, oh God, they're having sex. Like, I'll put on the TV. I'll put on a noise machine. Like, I don't know. If you don't want to hear your friend have sex, I get it. That's awkward. But I don't think that means people stop having sex.
Right.
I think people are like, that's what a thing creatures do too,
right.
you know?
Right. And I imagine that there is a level of your friend of being like, this is my house.
Yeah.
That's why I did ask, like, if you, and I wasn't assuming you weren't paying rent. I was just wondering what the situation was that, like, if you felt your friend had more ownership because she literally has the ownership.
If she's having head banging, loud ass sex multiple times a week, but you're saying 2 times in 1 year you've heard her. So I'm just kind of going off the details that you're giving us, which feels like your roommate is just a little bit more sexually open than you.
Right.
And so you have to just figure out how to deal with that. I would not tell her that she's being disrespectful about having sex when there's people in the apartment, because that feels like something that is kind of specific to you.
And I think that would become a much bigger issue quickly. I think it's completely acceptable to say, I feel uncomfortable when I hear these things, and I think it's completely acceptable to talk with her about that maybe again, because you did bring it up the one time you heard it. So this also, it's a bigger question for the caller.
Yeah.
And also, honestly, exploring that a little bit more of like, why do I feel this way?
Yeah.
Where is this coming from?
Yeah. And she says in the call, I just don't feel comfortable. And that's fine.
Completely fine.
But other people are like on a different
wavelength.
Yeah. So let us know what happens. I don't think you should say that to her, but like I said, if it's in a way where she's doing it so much in a loud, like ostentatious kind of way, you could have a conversation about like, hey, if there's any way, like, I don't know, I'm working from home and I can hear you bang, like whatever.
I just remember there was this one, man, one of the dudes used to bang, we called her the Yowler, and she had such a yowl. It sounded like he was having sex with cats, but we knew it was a human being woman. And we would wait until after she would leave, and then we would all, because this is while we're all like writing comedy in the living room, and then we would all like, like make the jokes, which now looking back, as I'm saying, is like, Jackie, that's not a nice thing to do. We were young drunks. I'm just saying that like it was like to a point that we would know who each other was in the room with based on their sex sounds because we were so used to them. So, but also not everybody lives that life.
Yeah. And also though, if you have a conversation with her about, or if you decide to move out, because like Jackie said, this might not be the living situation for you, you could move into an apartment where your next door neighbor is having loud sex. I mean, like this is just kind of like part of life. You might hear people have sex, so maybe there's like earplugs, noise machine, maybe there's like a TV in your room, or like things that you could, playing music, get an Amazon Echo. I don't know, not Amazon, but you know what I mean. Get like a little thing that plays music.
And just throwing out there for the person coming to stay with you, you are on the whole top floor. Could you give them just an air mattress on the ground?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Could we just throw an air mattress up there?
Yeah, like have them up there if you really don't want them to hear this person having sex, or just tell your friend, hey, you're getting a free place to stay tonight. Sorry, my roommate might have sex. Like that's just kind of life. But yeah, I'm just sort of interested in why this you don't like this so much.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody is really the bitch here. You guys are just different.
I think that's really what it is. I think you both just have different backgrounds and are just looking at this situation differently.
All right, let's get into this next one because this email's a little bit long, but I like it. Okay.
You've got
Jackie, Kara.
Yep.
First, shout out to you guys for your stunning pod that is a true service to humanity. Why, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, shout out to my fucking awesome sister who would not cease recommending this podcast to me until she knew I would give it a fair shake. Oh my God,
thank you, sister.
She knew I'd love it and she was right. Okay, here we goes. Here we goes. My bitchuation is as follows. A Canadian flag emoji. That's going to be relevant. In very early 2017, I moved to Toronto for work. I was lucky enough to stay for 5 years, during the course of which I became friends with so many wonderful Canadians, with a few true standouts. One was a very close friend. We traveled internationally together and shared all of our life stories and secrets. We were together through the tough moments and celebrated the great ones. This wasn't a friend of convenience, nor one that you randomly caught happy hour with when it felt like it had been a while. Frequent text updates, minimum weekly hangouts, quick coffee together on Wednesday morning for midweek solidarity. You get the picture. So when I relocated back to the USA in 2021, to LA specifically, yes, I'm always peeping in case I catch you ladies out and about.
Oh my God, come find us, bitch.
Our friendship most certainly continued. I'd return to Toronto from time to time for work. Dinner was a non-negotiable, and she flew down a couple times, even to celebrate American Thanksgiving, meetups in New York City, daily text narratives of the ins and outs of life, etc. You get the picture. This is one of your people. Small pivot, but it comes back to this friend. In 2022, I met my now husband. He is my second husband. He is the end of a long line of waste men who really weren't worth my time, but I didn't know that until I met him. Yay. That said, we met when I was 36 and he was 43. We both knew we wanted to raise a family together, and so we didn't spend much time hemming and hawing about it, as there were certain biological imperatives around this. After a little over 2 years together, I was 38 and some change, we decided that after a handful of months of trying naturally to conceive, we'd just go the science baby route. We were so fortunate to find the most badass team of reproductive endocrinologists on this side of the hill. And after a few rounds of IUI, unsuccessful, we went for IVF full tilt, and that shit worked. I got preggo after a successful egg retrieval and embryo transfer, and now have a riotous 8-month-old gal. She kicks ass.
Congratulations.
Disclaimer, I know not all IVF stories go this way. It can be a long, trying road. I feel for all you TTC mamas out there, this gets at my bitchuation. Re-enter Canada friend. While my husband and I were going through fertility treatment, so was my Canadian friend. She had been with her husband for at least 6 years at that point, married for about 4. They had tried to conceive naturally to no avail. We shared in the ups and downs of unsuccessful IUI rounds, the side effects of letrozole, the drama of fitting in monitoring appointments around a busy professional life. We talked about how all of our friends getting pregnant around us stung on the occasion, but that we had learned to put that aside and celebrate their win, knowing ours was coming. We talked openly and very plainly about the fact that one of us was going to get pregnant first, and no matter how acrid the twinge of jealousy may be, we'd celebrate the win for the other and support their ongoing journey. Turns out I got there first. I shared the news of my successful IVF round with my friend when I was about 2.5 months pregnant. I didn't make too much of a to-do about it, knowing how sensitive this news can be. We carried on texting like normal for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then nothing. It's actually crazy. Our last text exchange reads as boring as the back page news. How is work going? Why is it so cold so early in Toronto? Then nothing. Sorry, I know I keep saying Toronto, and I know it's Toronto. Then nothing. Then I asked her how her week was going. More nothing. Then a couple, hey, is everything okay? Nada. And a couple, I miss you. I hope you're all right. Ghost emoji. I finally texted a respectful, it seems something has happened and I want to give you space. I am always here. I hope you know I love you, and I'm holding space until you're ready to connect again. Crickets. I know from a mutual friend of ours that she is physically okay. I didn't ask that friend too many details, nor did I share that many on my side out of respect for the situation. Plus, I don't do drama, but we know she is alive and well. The only thing I'm left to think is, did she stop talking to me because she had a hard time coping with the fact that I got pregnant first? It's the only logical thing here. Our last literal text were as humdrum as ever. How's the weather? Our bosses are shitbags, etc. Other than this, there's nothing I conclude that would have driven a wedge. It makes me sad and mad. I'm bummed out on a regular basis and I deeply miss my friend. But then I get angry about how silly it is to cancel a whole very close, very important friend over something like this, jealousy. That said, if it's not over the pregnancy, I'd sure love to know what it's about, which I have invited her to share with me. Am I the bitch for thinking she owes me at least an explanation of why our very close, very deep friendship evaporated overnight? Is she the bitch for ghosting me? Is infertility the bitch? Because, well, yes, infertility is absolutely the bitch. Can't wait to hear your perspective. Love you, ladies, and keep being fucking fantastic. Bye. Damn.
Devastating.
I also just want to say really quickly, I know I made an April Fool's joke about being pregnant at the beginning of the episode, and I'm sorry if that made anybody sad, because I remember some of my friends that were trying to conceive and having a really hard time with it, being like, it's so annoying on April Fool's Day when everybody posts these sonograms.
Yes.
Like it's a joke. So I apologize. I got pregnant through regular normal intercourse or whatever, but I had a couple of losses before both of my pregnancies came to term. And so I was like on a road with it, and so was my really good friend. And so when I got pregnant, I called her first separately to say, I just want you to know that I'm pregnant, because I know I didn't want to just put it in the group text.
Right.
Because and she was like, thank you so much for letting me know. And then she texted me 3 weeks later to let me know she was pregnant too.
Oh my!
Because we literally have had the same exact
like
milestones.
The dream.
But like, I also, and I
not-
had another friend who was dealing with like undiagnosed, basically endometriosis for 10 years, and then finally got pregnant with her child. But she has another good friend, and the two of them have just been in it together for so long. So I know this is like a big thing for a lot of women, and this isn't the first email we've gotten of my friend ghosted me when I got pregnant. It's like really, really tough. And I bet you that your friend is missing you also.
Desperately.
And is really embarrassed and is like almost embarrassed. I remember I have a friend, I'm still friends with her, who was like casually trying to get pregnant at the same time as me. And I was like pissing on sticks. I was monitoring my ovulation. Like I was going so hardcore, like planning it. And she was like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. And I was like, I was immediately so mad inside. I was like, she's not even like trying on a regular basis, whatever. I've told her this too. I go, when you first told me, our kids are 2 months apart.
Yeah.
I got pregnant right after.
But still,
I was
you
like,
didn't know that.
I felt the anger. like right then I didn't show it to her. And I only told her years later when I was like, when you first told me that, I was so angry. It was just like my visceral upset that like, why will your body do something that my body won't do?
Of course.
And it's like totally, and I'm like, I don't think you're the bitch for wanting to know why. I don't think she's necessarily a bitch for ghosting you, even though we just said we don't like ghosting on this podcast, really. I think this is a little bit different because it's probably just very hard for her because she probably does really feel like your friendship is super deep, and to watch you give birth and have this. And now she's probably like, it's been so long and now I've not been in this baby's life. And I feel like, I think it might be even hard for her to come out of it. I wonder if there's a way for you to reach out, maybe with, you guys know what I'm going to say, an email. I love putting everything into email. And just like saying, I just don't want you to think that I'm not receptive to you coming. Like, even though it's been all this time now,
I'm here.
Still receptive to whenever you're ready to talk. Like, I really miss you. And if this has to do with my pregnancy, I'm so sorry. Like, I know that must be that must be so hurtful. I hope there's a way that you can come back into my life and meet my child. I really want her to know you. And if it's about something else, I really want to know. I really want to know if this is about something else. Like, it doesn't sound like, again, though, it's like we get so many emails by people that are like, my friend just started ghosting me out of nowhere. And then it's like, there's gotta be a reason.
But it's like, but I mean, at least
I'm saying if it's not the pregnancy.
That's what I'm saying. It's like in this, because like in this relationship, there is, so it's like with the moving far away, it's like, but you had even made it through that. You had made it through a big move. And I'm saying that it's difficult to maintain a friendship when you're far away. It's especially as you get older, it just gets harder.
Things get harder, but like, the feeling of an absolute like unexplained cutoff is so gut wrenching.
I really am. That. Like my chest hurts for you because all I can think of, and I can't put myself in the position that you're both going through and what you've been through, Kara, because I've never been in that position before. But I've definitely lost great friendships before.
Yeah.
Over things that, it's like, sometimes you think like, we could have fixed that. We could have worked on that. Like, I wish I was in a different headspace. I wish I was in a different place in my life. And like, you think and you hurt and it is such an ache of a loss that you're feeling right now, that like, while you're also, it's like going through such everything you wanted, like the magic of you beginning your family, and it's gotta hurt so bad. And I just want to send you love. I just want you to know that
really, this is like the
sucks.
most painful kind of thing. It's like a death, truly.
It sucks. It really, and especially for someone,
especially because you guys talked about it in advance.
Yes.
You were like, look, one of us is going to get pregnant before the other one. Like, and I hope it doesn't, you guys like agreed that this, but then again, we can't ask your friend to hold herself to like a contract that she made before it happened. Like, I'm sure she did not expect the reaction that she had.
But like, I'm thinking of like the friend that I have, that if she were to ever to just never speak to me ever again, that I'd be that, like, honestly, in this instance, without the, like, I mean, obviously you have an 8-month-old, so I know this isn't easy. I'd show up at her doorstep.
I know. I'd be like, what's going on?
I can't. You're not answering me. I would literally fly
I can't believe your self-control that you haven't asked the mutual friend to mine for information.
I would have lost my mind. I would have truly, like, I would go feral over the friendship, that, like, even just thinking right now of her never messaging me back ever again, I'd fight for it. I would go. Like, this is, we see this in romance movies. We see that it's like, we see it with romantic love all the time.
But not with friendship.
But friendship is just as important.
Yeah.
And it is like, this is a soul sister. And
I mean, I don't even, I guess you just show up at her door, because I'm like, I don't even know how you track this person down when they won't even respond.
I know that I'm saying that as like, that's the like, say anything, hold the boom. But it's like, it is just, I know that I would, because if not, I'd be like, and I didn't even fight for it.
Yeah.
And I think I'd always wonder, in the way you always wonder with one that got away.
Yeah.
That, like, you're just gonna let this, like, we can't let relationships like this just fizzle away. Like the other one that we were talking about with the Casper of the friendly ghost, like
there was nothing there.
No,
there was
nothing
this
to
is
fight
like a
for.
dear friend, and you guys have been like, you went through the whole process of this IVF together and everything, and like I have a feeling that she had a reaction that she wasn't expecting, and by the time she kind of realized that she had kind of that was, you know, that she wanted to repair, she was probably like, I don't know, felt like it was too late or embarrassed or whatever. And I'm wondering if like a letter or an email or something.
You have an 8-month-old, so it's been happening
over a year that this has been going on, right? She told her at 2.5 months, and within a couple weeks, within being 3.5 months pregnant, she wasn't speaking to her anymore. And so it's been, you know, I'm like doing my math right now because pregnancy is really more like 10 months. But yeah, like 14 months or something like that. They haven't talked.
Sorry, I'm just looking through it again. Yeah, and it's like you met in 2017. It's just, is it the Canadian of it? Like, is it that? Like, who? I don't know. Like, you guys got to get back together.
Yeah, like, I mean, yeah, I probably would have like, I don't know. Maybe I would like write her
You need
partner.
her in your baby's life.
Do you have contact info for her partner? I know that's probably, is that awkward?
Yeah.
To contact the partner and just say like, I just really, is there anything you can do to facilitate us talking again? Like, I really want
that, or just, man, I'd also, but I'm
or
a
the
freak.
other friend.
I'd start calling and text like, I'm literally going to keep calling until you answer my phone call. And I know that you don't do that to a person, and that's a scary thing, and that's harassment. But if it's a friend that I want to talk to, I think I'd literally text them, I'm going to call you nonstop until you answer. So answer me.
Yeah.
Or text me while you're not talking to me. Then put it in. I want to see it. I want you to write it down then.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not going to say it to me on the phone, if you're not going if you're not going to go show up at the door, it's like, I need to know. And that is not bitchy.
Yeah.
I know not every friend dissolution requires a reason of why it ends. Sometimes friendships just end. This is not one of those situations.
It doesn't feel like that. Unless
this is not
like,
one of those.
Unless you're fully delusional, but we're only getting your side of it. So we can't really, you know, unless you're fully delusional and she was looking for, but like even then, it's like, I still feel like she kind of owes you after, you know, at that point, what
everything
have
you guys have
it had been
together.
like 6, 7, or 8 years of friendship. Like, I think she still owes you to tell you, like, you know what, actually, like, I've really felt minimized by you, and I've really felt like you don't listen to me and whatever. Like, she does kind of owe you to tell you why she's cutting it off. I think that's because I do believe the reason is the pregnancy.
I mean, yeah.
It is the reason. And now she's can't
it's got
make
to
her way
so
back
hard.
to you about it.
It's got to be so hard.
Yeah.
It's got to be so hard.
It's
and
really
you know
hard.
how hard it is for her. You're the one that also knows.
Yes.
That's why you go to her. We will save this friendship.
I think you should start with like an email or a card.
Or don't show up at her doorstep like
an email or a letter that just is like, you know, all this time has gone by and I thought I could give you this space, but I really think about it all the time and it's really upsetting to me that our close friendship is just gone. And I totally am not like, if this is, I wouldn't even use the word jealousy. If you were having feelings about me being pregnant and that I'm sure that must have felt terrible to you. I am completely supportive of working through that with you, but like just complete crickets. Like I have an 8-month-old, like it's, you know, I have like a child that I want you to be in their life. I want you back in my life. Like, you know,
I would say maybe don't even bring up the kid.
Yeah, maybe don't even bring up the kid.
Just talk about how much you miss her.
Yeah, just talk about how much you miss her and say like, I'm open. Like I'm not angry about this, even though you are a little bit angry about it just being over. I think keep your anger out of any communication. Yes. And then like, I would hope that maybe after this long break, getting something like that would maybe snap her out of this or open the door to it.
Yes.
Like, you know, and say, you can write me back. We can talk on the phone, whatever. I will come to Toronto if you're open to it.
It's just the silent treatment.
I will come to Toronto if you're open to it. I will come, and when on your day, like when you'd like it to happen, I'll come and we can chat about it. And if that's feasible for you.
Yes. I just think that even if it's jumping on a Zoom, jumping on anything, just like, I think that like you're so right to keep the anger out of it. But I think that it's also okay to show a little vulnerability and a little, not that, I'm not saying that you are desperate, but I feel like if I were in your situation, I would definitely be like, I need you.
Yeah.
I need you in my life. I miss you.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm sending you so. Oh my God! I just want to hug you so much.
This is like a heartbreaking one. Let us know. And that's our show for today, you guys. We're Who's the Bitch?
I'm upset, Kara.
Jackie's got to go cry it out.
Kara, are you gonna leave me?
No.
Are you gonna leave me, Kara?
I literally only ever like stopped being friends with like 3 people in my entire life, and like most of the time, it's like been pretty clear why.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
At least from my perspective, maybe they don't think so.
This is the problem. Yeah. And then sometimes I feel like I get people from my past that are just like, what happened to us? I'm just like,
you really don't know?
You really don't know what happened to us?
Yeah.
So, I'm just sending everybody as much love as we can. We're going to get through this April Fool's Day, and we're not going to hold it against ourselves that April Fool's Day is obviously the much better name of the holiday that I created many years ago. But I'm not going to get hung up on it.
Send us your April feels. Send us your April reels. Send us your bitchuations, because we're getting a lot of emails, but we also love the voicemails.
Yes.
So send us voicemail. I know people get nervous. Don't get nervous. Just like set a little timer for 5 minutes. Write it down in advance so you make sure you get all your points across.
Yes.
Whatever. Leave us a little voicemail. We love a voicemail. Go to who'sthebitch.com for all the ways you could submit email, voicemail, DM. And yeah, we can't wait to hear from you guys. And we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Adios.